Greetings, friends! Summer has officially begun. And it's hard to believe that it's summer 2020 now. In the June, almost July. It's crazy to think about. This year in general hasn't gone the way that I thought it would go, nor probably any of you. And I must say that kind of the same for the garden around the homestead too. It hasn't gone exactly the way that I I expected it to go, but nonetheless, we're still moving forward. What about you guys? How is your growing season? How has your garden been doing? Are you where you thought you would be? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you don't have a garden, let me know in the comment section below of why you're not growing anything. Check this out. In this bed right here, we have eggplants that are growing, and you can start to see some of our first eggplants right here. Doesn't look perfect, but hey, they're growing. Oh, check these out right here. This one has a number of eggplants on it. Look at that one right there. And right there. Pretty exciting. Right here we have this row of eggplants, and hopefully they really will be producing a lot of eggplants for us. This row right here, we're having peppers. See a lot of flowers, but oh, I do see some peppers right here. Peppers right there. And right there. Oh, and look at all those right there. The biggest challenge that we've had to deal with, on top of all the global craziness, has been the rain. The rain has made it so challenging to keep things tidy around here, to keep the weeds especially, they're just growing like crazy. And with it constantly raining, it's like almost every week that it's been raining, and sometimes multiple days within the week. It's been hard to keep on top of those things. There's been so much moisture in the ground, a number of just cloudy days. And then on top of all that, it's made it really difficult to plant and start new stuff in the beds and actually do bed prep. We use tarps here to cover the beds when it's raining, so that way we can actually have a dry space to work on. But it's been so wet that even the tarps haven't been able to do what we need them to do. But thankfully the past couple days it's starting to dry out. So today we're going to be planting things. And yes, you can still plant things in June. And one of the things that we're going to be starting here pretty soon is lettuce. And yes, I can grow lettuce with certain techniques even in June in the summertime, as well as things like arugula and your root crops. There's a number of things that you can still plant in June. So today we're going to try to get back somewhat on track with our planting. All right, in this section of our garden, we have 4 50-foot rows, as we do in most sections. First row, we have arugula growing. We just pulled out beets here. We have kale that we need to be pulling out, as well as some radishes that we recently started. But today we're going to be working on right here, because I want to be growing some more arugula. Since we had a root crop here, we need to go ahead and put a leaf in here next. But still got some cleaning up to do in here. And you can see, even after a couple days of it being dry, look at there, it's still kind of wet. But we're in a crunch, so we're just going to do what we can, pull out what we can, add some compost and fertilizer to it.
Hey Daddy.
Yeah?
At Sogo, I figured out 2 things.
What's that?
That I like Sogo, and I don't like mushrooms.
Not too long ago, I took the family to a Japanese restaurant called Sogo. And it's one of those ones, they have like the hibachi grill and everything, and I was really excited about taking them there. And when we were there, we got seated, we're waiting on our food to come. The kids were just watching the other tables as the chefs were cooking and using the flames, and it's pretty neat. So after watching the other tables for a little bit, our chef came through, and the kids really enjoyed seeing him.
Yeah, and they even had the onion volcano and it went.
And I thought going into it the kids would really like it. But one of the things I didn't see coming is Micah and Josiah were just a little bit more scared than I thought that they would be. Where are you going? You all right? That's cool, isn't it? It is. Can you do that, Micah?
No.
You gonna catch it? Open your mouth. You gonna try? You can do it. You can do it. Oh, almost. Your turn, Selah. You can do it. Oh! I'll try. Oh! I got part of it.
What do you think about it, Selah?
It's really cool.
And then he served us our food. What did you think about that?
I thought it was really good.
So you like Japanese?
Yep. Japanese and Chinese.
Just thinking about that, it's making me hungry again.
Yeah.
Ideally, it's best to turn over to beds when the weeds are really young and small. This bed, because we were growing beets, took a little bit longer than some of the crops that we grow, as well as having to deal with the rain. So we're having to pull out a little bit more than I would normally like to, especially the ones that are longer and have roots in them. And thankfully I don't see any that have gone to seed. But some of the smaller ones, like that right there, we'll let that stay in there. You can just break down and just add some organic matter to the soil here. Oh, listen there. That's a sound I'm hearing for the first time this year. Cicadas. Not my favorite sound in the world. It's almost like a psychedelic hypnosis type sound. Messes with my head, especially when they really start going and it sounds like they're going just constantly all day long. But Lacie here, she kind of likes the way they sound.
I've always liked cicadas. They're pretty neat.
I like them when they're doing like right now. They just sound every now and then. Just like that. Sounds nice. Not too bad. But then the time comes when they're just constantly gone. And I feel like when I'm recording, I constantly hear it on the video and it's like, ah, will they be quiet? Finally, we are finished with this bed. Man, with the soil being moist and all these different grasses and things that have sprouted up, it made it take a little bit longer than it should have. And if we had a walk behind tractor with a flail mower, and it would have made things a lot easier. So maybe that can be a goal for next year in occasions like this, to be able to have something like that. Overall, we've been trying to do more no-till around here, and been having success with it for the most part, and plan to continue on with it. But I still feel like there's times when tilling is necessary or is appropriate and can be beneficial.
So you're not killing yourself.
Yeah, so you're not killing yourself. But overall, the goal is to till less and do no till when we can. So Selah, you know what the next part is?
Taking it to the chickens?
That's right. All this yummy salad buffet for all the chickens. We'll cart it down there. I'll help you out. And good day to you too, Greg. And for those of you who don't know, that sound right there is coming from our guard goose, Greg. And sounds like Jurassic Park or something every time he makes his rocking noises. Alrighty, well now I'm inside our grow room here, and this is where we have our seed library, our seed vault, and just in here cooling off because it's been a warm day. It's been a number of hours since we were working on that bed this morning, and I really wanted to give it time, the soil to dry out, and it was warm enough to do so today, and I was feeling it. And I've also been getting a really good tan since I've been working outside so much here lately. Check it out. See how much darker I've gotten? It's pretty crazy. I don't know why I'm telling you about my tan. You guys probably don't care about my tan at all. But anyways, right before I came in here to cool off, I did add fertilizer to that bed that we were working on, as well as some compost. And after adding the compost, I next used my bow rake. And while I've been in here, I've been sorting out the seeds that we're going to be starting. Our arugula in the bed that I was just working on. And this arugula is from Baker Creek. And also some other seeds that we're going to be starting as well. Because now is the time that we, and you guys too, need to be gearing up and start thinking ahead for late summer and fall. And those of you who are in the northern zone, such as zone 2, 3, 4, and 5, you need to start thinking about, you can grow things like arugula as well as other greens such as kale and spinach and lettuce. Really start gearing those things up right now, as well as root crops such as your beets, your carrots, your radishes. But you also need to think about things like your cooler season herbs, like your cilantro and your parsleys. And for the most part, for most of you I know probably don't have season extension tools like a caterpillar tunnel or greenhouse. So if growing things like peppers and cucumbers and things like that, if you haven't started them already and they're not growing, chances are I would suggest not trying to grow those right now. And for those of you who live in warmer areas, such as zones 6, 7, 8, which is where we live, where I'm going to be doing things as well. I can still do greens here even though it's warm. I have a number of techniques that I use to keep the greens cool, so that way we can still harvest and get a good crop from them. But also we can still do things even in zones, where I am in zone 8 as well as 9, 10 and warmer. You can still do things like peppers and squash and tomatoes and okra. I'm not going to be starting any more of the tomatoes and okra, but we're going to be doing a second round of squash. I actually know a farmer in Georgia who says his second round of squash does better than his spring round. The ones that he does for the fall excel and do much better than the spring. So I'm going to try doing that. We got a number of things that we're going to be doing. Also planning to do some cucumbers here, another round of those, as well as, I do want to show you guys this. Where is it? As well as some zucchini squash. And for those of you who are subscribed to our email newsletter, I'm going to send out just a little quick guide based on the zones you are in, what you can start now, so that way you can be gearing up for the fall, and give you a list and ideas of what I'm doing as well. And I'm going to try to stick to the things that do well, but I also like to experiment, and I encourage you guys to experiment. I also have season extension tools that do help me to have a little bit more flexibility. But I know it's late. I haven't started these before now, but I'm going to try them now. They're melons. I'm going to try starting them and growing them in the greenhouse and see what happens. We'll see what happens. It doesn't hurt to experiment and try. As my time has gone with being a homesteader and farmer, gardener, whatever you want to call me, I have learned that I can start things sooner and sooner than I thought I could. I know that may change as the weather patterns and things may change, but always experiment. All right, well, let's go out there. Let's get this arugula in the ground. Wow, the wind has come out of nowhere. Very different than just a few minutes ago. I'm gonna hurry up and get this done. What I'm gonna do is take my wheel plow here and just make some rows, put our arugula in. And in the 30-inch wide bed, which this is, you can get anywhere from 3 to 4 rows. And if I feel like the soil's pretty good, I'm gonna get 4. But let's hurry up and get this done. Not my best rows, but man, we gotta get this going. This one, it starts to dry out. Rain again, probably. Hoping it stays off. Oh, seeds. Last row here, and I sow arugula seed very generously just because I like it to really be dense. As you can see right here, those leaves are almost ready to be harvested right here, and that looks really good. And I like to have that in each of the beds that I have arugula growing in. Just lightly rake over each of the sides from the row that we made with the wheel plow. Just gently cover our seeds. Well, when I was outside, I heard this sound that sounded like a transformer had blew. And apparently that's the case because we don't have power right now. So hopefully we'll get it back soon. But we won't be able to start those other seeds that I was talking about. So you just have to wait till our next video. Hopefully we have power then, or at least we'll have sunlight to deal with it, because the day is coming to a close anyways. So make sure you stay tuned to the next video, and we're going to be showing the seeds that we're going to be starting that I talked about for fall. Let me know in the comment section below, what are you doing right now to prepare for fall? Your fall garden, to get things growing, and let me know. See you next time.